Hey guys. Okay. I just want to be real quick. Or no. I wanted to talk about the prodigal son. And the reason why I want to talk about the prodigal son is because I feel like there's a lot of people out here still who don't understand their identity in Christ. And not just their identity in Christ, but their standing in Christ. I was talking to myself, like I always do, and I noticed that when the prodigal son took his inheritance and left God and went to go and spend it on, I think he spent it on women. Don't quote me, okay, you guys, just go to the scripture yourself. But look at the prodigal son, look at that story, okay? But he spent his money on just things of the world or whatever, not living right and stuff like that. And he ended up spending all his inheritance, and he ended up eating with just the pigs. And so the highlight that I'm not really highlighting what he did. I'm more so highlighting, his thought process and who he knew he was. Like, he got to a point where he said, I know that I can go back and at least be a servant. I can always go back. Let me see if I can go back to my father's house and I can just be a servant. And I think the thing that is so great about that story is that he knew he could go back. And so there are some people who are in the faith that even as much as what the prodigal son did and what he knew he could do, even we don't even know. We don't even know that we can always come back to the Father. And I think what ends up happening is because we have listened to people who are ignorant in the faith and still base their standing with God upon themselves. They say, even, Jesus came so that you could rely on yourself. That's pretty much what you're saying. Okay, he saved you. All right, you're saved. But now you still have to rely on yourself, because if you are too dirty after you get saved, if you go back to doing the old things, or if you're too disobedient, then you won't be able to be considered righteous to God, because you're too disobedient. People don't like that word. People don't like disobedient. And I think that, we don't understand the reason why God doesn't want us to be disobedient. It's not just because he wants us to it's not just, I just want you to listen to me. No, us being disobedient is taking us away from our identity. It's pulling us away from who we're called to be. What ends up happening when we get disobedient? Think about Adam and Eve's story. When they sinned against God, first thing that they did when God called for them, they ran from God. They ran from him. They were ashamed. They were ashamed. And God is like, this is what sin does to you. This is what being disobedient does to you. You forget who you are. You forget my love for you. You forget who you belong to. You forget my nature. You forget about the relationship that we have. Yeah, okay, I don't like that you don't listen to me. But the reason why I don't like that you don't listen to me is because you're not benefiting yourself when you don't listen to me. I'm good. I'm God. I made the universe. I made the sun. I keep all this stuff going. right? My power keeps everything going. So I'm straight. I'm looking out for you and what's best for you. And when you don't listen to me, you forget who you are. It's all about identity. It's all about, knowing that you're a son and a daughter. And whenever you let, your desires let you go off into sin and disobedience or whatever, like, you forget who you are, and then you get shameful, and then you feel like, oh, I can't go to God. But it's like, no, like, God's like, I want you to always know that you can come to me. And I think that's one of the great things I love about that story, the prodigal son, because it highlights that he knew he could go back. And a lot of us in the faith don't know that. We legit feel like if we're too disobedient, we will lose our fellowship and our relationship with the Lord. And that is not true. That we will no longer be considered sons and daughters of Him. But why would God disown a child? His child at that. Why did Jesus come? So that we could get saved and then rely on ourselves? That's so stupid. Then that means that the blood wasn't that powerful. And the way that we think about power, we think that power will overcome, or we will be able to see somebody overcome something that has kept them bound in this physical body and on this physical earth. But the real victory was on the cross. So we have to understand the power of the cross in a spiritual sense, not necessarily by what you see. You cannot go by what you see when it comes to victory to God. You can't. You have to go by what you know. You have to know that you're victorious. I don't care if you're a crackhead from the time you become saved to the time you die. You will always be a son. You will always be a daughter. And that's your victory. Your victory is not in yourself. Jesus being able to defeat sin and defeat your afflictions had nothing to do with you. Had everything to do with what He did. We will always be bound to this flesh here on this earth, unfortunately. But our freedom comes through Christ, period. And we look forward to the day that we will meet Him, because there will be no more affliction, there will be no more sadness, there will be peace, everlasting peace. That's what we look forward to. Now, that's not to say, because I know some folks will be like, well, you could be free here. And yes, you can. Like, I'm not saying that you can't. But all I'm saying is, for those who think that their standing with God is dependent upon how good they are or how faithful they are, please do not let that lie from the enemy discourage you. Our standing with God was always based upon Jesus' faithfulness, not our faithfulness. Thank God. Thank God. I'm so glad that God didn't say, hey, you know what? I'm going to save them. But they're going to have to... Look, I'm going to give you the alley-oop. You're going to have to dunk it. If you don't dunk this thing, I'm sorry, bruh. You're going to hell. Oh, you didn't dunk it? Oh, you're done. Like, that makes no sense. That means that God is a liar. That means that He's not faithful. And that's a lie. I know my God is faithful. I know He's faithful. I know I'm not faithful. I am not faithful. Okay? But my God is faithful. And God being faithful has nothing to do with you. We let pride come in and we think that, oh, we gotta be our own goodness. And it's like, no. That's God's nature to be faithful. Forget about you. He ain't worried about you. Oh, I can't be faithful because she ain't faithful. No, God's not like that. He's not like humans where, when folks do us dirty, we're like, oh, I can't mess with you because you ain't doing me right, so I'm not messing. No. God is like, I have to be faithful so that they can live. I desire to be faithful so that they can prosper. That's the mind of our God. So that's it. That's pretty much all I have to say. I just want you guys to understand that once you're a son and a daughter of the Lord, that title cannot be taken away from anything, by anything, nothing. You're always a son. You're always a daughter of the King, of the Father. You're always, through your faith in Jesus Christ, period. How easy is that? You know? That's all you have to do is just believe. That's it. Now, I would encourage you to live for Christ because it will benefit you here on this earth. Live for Him, please. It will benefit you. But don't you ever let the lies of the enemy come in and make you think that, well, if you don't act right, or if you don't do right all the time, God's not gonna love you, or God's gonna be done with you. No, that's a lie. And what you do is you tell the enemy, and you say, "Get thee behind me, Satan." Okay, get behind me, for real. So that's pretty much all I have, you guys. Okay, I'm done for real. All right, love you guys.